Good morning. Thank you, darling. Yes, I have slides today. All right. So, how much do you think this weighs?
Too much.
Too-
Is it full or is it empty?
It's full.
Okay.
It's full. You know what the truth is? I have no idea. I have no idea how much this weighs. But I will tell you that if I have it out like this for a couple of minutes, I might have a little bit of discomfort. If I have it out like this for a couple of hours, I'm going to have quite a bit of discomfort. And if I have it out here for a couple of days, I'm going to be paralyzed. Like this, right? Stiff. I won't be able to feel a thing. So, what does that mean? You know what? That's the same with everything. That's the same with everything that we hold on to. I'm holding on to this, right? I'm holding on to this. So if I hold on to something for a minute or two, I'll try not to move a lot, you guys. No guarantees. They were teasing me the other day because I tend to move on the stage quite a lot. So if I hold on to this for a couple of minutes, no big deal. I hold on to this for a couple of hours like this, starting to become a big deal. I hold on to this for a day, or two, or a week, or a month, it's a big deal. We do that with fears, don't we? We can notice a fear. We can notice a fear for a minute and acknowledge it and let it go. Or we can hold on to that fear for hours. Or we can hold on to that fear for weeks or months or years or lifetimes, yeah? And we're paralyzed. We're paralyzed by the fear. Do you recognize, that's not a great picture up there. I'm glad I brought do you recognize these? What's this from? Our intentions. Our intentions for this year, instead of having a white stone ceremony this year, we had a white shell ceremony. And that meant that you kind of went into meditation and focused on what Spirit was telling you your intention for this year would be. This is my shell. This is my shell for this year. Release was my word that came to me. Release. And in my own life, those of you that know me know that the last couple of years have been pretty rough. They've been pretty rough for me. I lost my dad, and I was extremely close to my dad, extremely close. And so in my effort to release grief, I feel the grief when it comes up. And you'll see me teary a lot, because the littlest thing will trigger it. Last week, Leland said the word terracotta. And I was a mess for weeks because my dad and I had this joke. I would say his house is painted pumpkin orange. And he would say, it's not pumpkin orange, Shell, it's terracotta. And he'd have this really funny way of saying it. So Leland says terracotta. I hear my dad in the back of my head going terracotta. And I'm laughing and I'm crying and I'm crying and I'm laughing. And I'm letting the grief move through me. I'm not holding it. I'm letting it move through me. And we can do this because we do have these feelings. And the feelings are there pointing the way at something. And that grief is pointing the way to the love that I had for my dad, not even have for my dad. I'm feeling this grief. My mom has late-stage Parkinson's and dementia, and she's disappearing into that disease. every day in bigger, bigger, bigger ways. I'm grieving losing my mom, and she's still here. And it comes in waves, and sometimes she knows exactly who I am. She knows exactly what's going on, and I celebrate that. That I will hold out here. Yes, thank you very much. You know? Yes, that I will, because it brings life and it brings joy to me. Those things maybe we do that with. But when she doesn't recognize me, or when she runs me down, because this disease is bringing some of that. My mom was not like that. Parkinson's is. That I can't hold out here, or it'll kill me. It'll paralyze me. That I just have to let run through and recognize what it is. Now, Malika said that everybody would know me. A lot of you don't, actually, or don't know that I was spiritual director here from 2017 to 2021. Exactly 4 years, like to the day 4 years, which is kind of interesting. I stepped down because my mom's Parkinson's, largely because my mom's Parkinson's was getting worse, and I wanted to help my dad more. And I knew that I couldn't be of support to this community and support to my parents with those conditions at the same time. That would just take too much out of me and nobody would have me fully, and that wasn't okay. So there was a release that had to happen when I stepped out of this position. I had to release the community and my role as spiritual director, and that was so stinking hard. I can't even begin to tell you. The community had to release me in that position as well, so that they could welcome somebody else. And that was stinking hard. I know it was. I heard about it. And I mourned with you. I did. And we're going through that again right now, but look who we got. We got Reverend Chris, who was stinking awesome. Wasn't he great? Reverend Chris was awesome. And he was only welcomed into this community because this community released me. We're there again, guys. We're there again. I know that Chris is going to be great. I know that this is unfolding for him in divine right order. I know that this is unfolding for our community in divine right order. And so letting go is releasing so that something good can come in. It's very, very, very important. It's important for you in your life. It's important to this center. And it's also important in reference to what's going on in the world right now. We're in a country that's divided. It's way divided. And we are holding things out here in a big way. Are you feeling it? We all are. We are all feeling that in a big way. And what does it do? Paralyzes. It paralyzes us. We have to release. We have to release to create a space of allowing for good to flow. We talked, Idalia and I are teaching a class together right now. That wasn't the plan, but boy, it turned out so great. She's awesome. She is just so awesome. So Idalia and I are teaching a class, and we talk about release a lot in that class. And it's a release of beliefs. It's a release of beliefs that no longer serve us so that we can live a different life, right? But when we release these beliefs that no longer serve us, we have to replace them with something. We can't just release. So as we're looking at this world, global, national thing going on, what do we replace what we're releasing with? So there's a lot of anger going on. There's a lot of frustration going on. There's a lot of pointing fingers going on. What do we replace that with so that we can have a different experience and be the catalyst for change in this country? We can be the catalyst for change in this country. We can build a world that works for everybody. And we do it one person at a time, and it starts here. And it starts now. Your reading was so perfect. We don't know what the reading's going to be, by the way. And she looked at the notes, and I'm not going by the notes at home office sent, as usual. I know, as usual. But the reading could not have been more perfect. You know how she talked about the physical body, and here I mean, goodness. Tells me that there's one mind, one. Okay, so what do? Ernest Holmes tells us. Now, this did come from the notes from home office, and it's a beautiful reading by Ernest Holmes. Love.
Leads the way.
Love does lead the way. No, see, the music was perfect too, wasn't it? The music was perfect too. If we let love lead the way, if we hold on to love, we can't be in love and fear at the same time. We can't be in love and hate at the same time. We can't be in love and judgment at the same time. It just doesn't work. So if we let love lead the way, everything changes. Now here's how Ernest Holmes put, thank you for that. Love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force. Guess what's going on right now? Controversy, argument, and force. It doesn't work that way. They don't fit together, guys. They don't. But a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. So these last words really kind of interested me. I love playing with words. I love looking up words and figuring out what they mean and finding the deeper meaning and all that. And I did that today. So transformation is a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. That's what transformation is. Transmutation is a change in form, appearance, structure, or the nature of something. Well, that sounds pretty much like the same thing to me. And I went, Ernest, why would you use the same word twice? This makes no sense, and he generally doesn't do this. So I went back and I said to my Google Oracle, what is the difference between transformation and transmutation? And here it is. Transmutation suggests a more profound and complete transformation, often with a mystical or spiritual connection. Isn't that cool? I love that. So transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. Now this, for me, has a whole different meaning because I do dye sublimation, which is printing and making t-shirts and stuff, but that's not what they mean here. Sublimation here is to change the form, but not the essence. That's what it literally means, to change the form, but not the essence. And it's often used, sublimation, in science, and it means going from a solid to a gas without going to the liquid form in between. It just goes directly solid gas, which I really don't understand, but it's kind of nifty anyway. So all of this is in changing form. So if we were to go back to our original quote, love overcomes both hate and fear. However, love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force, but by a subtle power change of form, completely with a mystical or spiritual connotation without losing our essence. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that interesting? I like what he's saying there, at least what I took away from what he's saying there. We can transform, we can change, and in fact, if it has a spiritual base to it, and we never have to give up our essence. We never have to give up who we are. That's not expected, no. But we can bring love to the world and we can bring peace to the world, and we can bring change to the world, and we can be this change and never, ever lose who we are. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, guys. It's about recognizing when we are in fear. It's recognizing when we are paralyzed. And it's changing that. It's transforming that. It's transmuting that. It's sublimating that into something else that will not only serve the world, but it'll serve you. And actually, it'll serve you first. Because if we shift out of fear into peace, we're peace-filled. If we shift out of hatred into love, we're love-filled. And then we can bring that in. Most of y'all know, or many of you know, I've been in serious counseling since all this stuff with my mom and dad. I'm working with a counselor to help me through the grief, to help me understand how to process grief. And she's given me a bunch of tools, which are just wonderful. And what she keeps saying to me over and over again is, Shell, you got a cup. And you want to give from this part of the cup. You know, it's cups like this. You want to give from this part. And if you're not filling your cup constantly with joy, with fun, with laughter, with what you enjoy doing, if you're not filling it up with that, you're giving from down here. And the analogy that comes to my head is like if I'm having coffee or something and there's grounds down there. You ever get a mouthful of grounds? Ew. You know, I don't want to be experiencing that, and I definitely don't want to be giving that into the world. But if I'm not filling up that cup, I'm down in the grounds, guys. That's where I'm living. That's where my experience is coming from. And the same is true of each of us. So gotta keep filling that cup. And then give from the top. It transforms the world. It changes the world. And it changes us. It changes each one of us. This is the rest of this quote. As light overcomes the darkness, as presence of heat causes the coolness of a room to change until it is warm and comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. Isn't that stunning? Stunning. What a wonderful thing. I gave a talk one time about hurricane, being in a hurricane. And I noticed something at my house. I had one, you know, those little tiny tea lights? Those little teeny ones? I had one of those in the middle of my stove, no electricity in my house. I had one little tea light in the middle of my stove lit, and it lit the whole stinking room. That's incredible to me, that this little tiny tea light could disperse all that darkness. But it only takes one, and we are it. We are the light. We are the peace. We are the love. We are the joy. We are the change. It is right here. It is us. So, the question on everybody's mind is, you guys, do you forget? There are enough people here that were here while I was here. Now, what? Thank you. Jeez, I used to just put Ernest Holmes' name up there and you knew what your part was. I put the line up there and you didn't do your part. Okay, one more time with effort. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Ernest Holmes would say this: love overlooks the little differences that we have and finds the point of reconciliation with others. Love creates tolerance and human understanding, without which we become really divided against ourselves, and without which we almost unconsciously become filled with criticism, condemnation, and false judgment. No one can be happy or enjoy the greatest fulfillment in life until he has come to see that most people try to do the best they can. This is so important. This is so important. No one can be happy or enjoy the greatest fulfillment in life until he has come to see that most people try to do the best they can. Most people try to do the best they can, even if they think differently than you, even if they act differently than you, even if they believe differently than you. They're there for good reason. Trust that. Trust that. And when we are able to reach out beyond the indifference and the coldness of life, reach through all intolerance and unkindness, only then do we meet that divine center which is forever established within every person. We are one. One people, one life, one power, one presence. We are one. Let's start to act like it. How about we take this into prayer? There is indeed one power, one presence, one life. It is called by so many names, known by so many people. It is all that we are. It is pure potential. It is all that exists. It's all that has ever been. It's all that will ever be. There is only one thing going on right here, right now. Always and in all ways. And this is what I know. Something has indeed been transformed right here today. Something has indeed been transmuted here today. Something has been sublimated. The verb for sublimate is sublime. Isn't that cool? What's emerged is love. What's emerged is truth. What's emerged is peace in bigger, broader ways than we have ever known before. We are letting go of what no longer serves us. We are letting go of old stories. We are letting go of hatred. We are letting go of fear. We are letting go of doubt. And we are embracing all that we are. We are this love in form with a capital L. We are peace in form with a capital P. We are joy. We are abundance of all kinds. And we are here to experience the depth and breadth and grace that is this life. So I know that all of this is unfolding in greater ways for each one, whether here in person, watching online, watching the recording, just each one. I speak a word of blessing over the entire planet, that we are all uplifted and upleveled today. Something shifted, something alkalized, something changed. And there is good and more good coming from it. For this and so much more, I am grateful, I am thankful. And it is in this gratitude that I let it be. It is done. So let's anchor this together by saying, and so it is. Namaste.